I'm pretty sure I did it right, and you are the co-host. So obviously you've got that, and then you've got YouTube to kind of keep an eye on everything there as this gets set up to be public. I need to make sure that the disclaimer is on there. Otherwise, I get in a lot of trouble. So bear with me. Press, there you go. Because it doesn't do it automatically because I'm not all that video savvy. I just happen to be a good trader. So there you go. There's that. It should be live on YouTube. I think it is what we're seeing, but we'll see. Who knows? Lord knows I don't. So move that aside for a second. Welcome, everyone. For those of you who are brand new, who don't know who I am, my name is Jennifer Baker, and I am a coach inside of solely Super EZ currently. Having said that, I'll go over all these beautiful disclaimers that protect you and protect me and make sure we have everything quasi right. So bear with me here. We get a nice little pretty screenshot, working on it. So there you go. My name is Jennifer Baker, and I am a coach inside of Super EZ. Mostly we just hang out and do some scalpings a few times a week in the morning, and that's pretty much the extent to what we do. There's also a gentleman by the name of Elvis. For those of you guys who don't know, he just started his own YouTube. Please go on over there and follow him. He's a pretty good trader. He's a pretty cool dude. He's definitely a really good trader in all fairness. So go check him out if you guys have not heard of him. I wish I could give the right name, but I don't have it. So maybe Miss Donna can put that in the chat for me on YouTube and in Super EZ and everything. So having said that, as you know, everything we discuss on this call is educational purposes only. I am not your attorney. I am not your financial advisor. I'm just another person on the other end of this computer who happened to get good at trading. I have some strengths. I have some weaknesses, just like everybody else. So just know that we're discussing possible ideas, and everything really, in my opinion, is theory-based. So it all comes down to being technically proficient, and that's really it. So it's mostly theories, and it's about kind of compiling them all and finding the one that works best for you and your eyes. So don't trade what you cannot afford to lose, obviously. Last but not least, if this isn't like the super instructions like in the morning classes, this is just simplicity. So simplicity has its own rules. Basic trading, basic structure, it's all pretty self-explanatory. I mean, in theory, as always. But how do you compound? How do you take the skill you've learned? I see some people chatting about that in the six-figure discussion group. They're talking about win ratios and how to tighten the stop loss. And, out of 25 trades, out of a big bucket, how do they get the best results over a period of trades, wins and losses? And obviously you need a good risk to reward ratio to do so. So to that gentleman and everyone who's responding and not understanding, I absolutely first and foremost commend you, because that is 100% correct. And then obviously we've got all this right here. It looks elementary because it is. It looks pedestrian because it is. But people go to school for 10 years to get this really small checklist for their day job, right? The difference is they spent 10 years of education and money in that college, on that college degree to believe that those 10 steps matter. Whereas you and I, we look at these 10 steps and we're thinking this sentence doesn't quite matter. So, you need a trading plan, you need a trading journal, preferably, to kind of analyze what you're doing and how you're doing it. You cannot expect to improve something you do not track. So if you're not tracking your results and what you're doing, you can't expect it to be effective. There. You all continue. Here we go. Somebody's got some background noise. I think I fixed it, and I don't think it was me, but it could have been. I think it's Kurt. We'll just call you by name when I see it. So as you guys know, trading plan, exclusive to one account, one strategy, one specific pair, a few pairs only. You shouldn't be scalping, day trading, swing trading, indices, Forex. You shouldn't be doing all that on the same account. You should be having different accounts with different purposes and managed differently with different rules entirely. And if you can't do that right now, then stick to one thing long enough to where you have a few batches of, let's say, 50 trades to know what your win ratio is, to know what you need to adjust and how to become a better trader individually. Have a schedule. Some of you guys can be in my class and you can get a couple thousand pips in the morning and hand it all back by the next day. You can get a couple thousand pips in the morning, or maybe just a few hundred, and give it back that afternoon. And then you're all over the place because the market is always there. So it comes into one of those, what were we talking about this morning? I think it was sports betting. It becomes like a gambling thing. It becomes an addictive thing. So set a schedule. And obviously sometimes we're going to be human. We're all superhuman. We'll kind of have some fluctuation in that, but at least set one that says, I'm not going to trade outside of these hours. I'm not going to look. I don't care what's moving outside of those hours because that's not my job. That's not what I'm hiring myself to do, because you are hiring yourself to do this job. So there's that. Increased lot size based off of account balance. Again, pretty simple. And withdrawal your weekly gains. So some of you guys are hitting huge numbers and then blowing an entire account down. Some of you guys are just neutral trading, kind of break even after a set of, X amount of trades after that basket, if you will, versus saying, hey, my account is up, let's say 30% in 2 weeks. And that's a very modest amount. It's definitely doable. It's not over the top. So please just withdraw a few percent, withdraw enough for coffee, withdraw enough to show you that this is not video game money, that this could potentially be, yes, there are people who made $30,000 today. There are people who made $300,000 today, and so on and so forth. So to make this real, withdraw little bits, withdraw a lot bits, withdraw whatever bits you need to make it real and, create that manageable personal budget. So any questions on this right now so far, or particular pairs, or anybody who has specific things that they want to go over tonight before I kind of go on a different tangent? Now is your moment. I think y'all are allowed to unmute yourself. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to stop that share. Make sure I have everything else on my other screen minimized and out of the way so it doesn't pop up. And go to a new piece. So new share. And go to my VPS. I'm just talking to myself while I'm doing this so I don't feel extremely off. I'll have to stop that and do it again. New share. There we go. Share. Sorry, this is a Zoom thing. It likes to do things in a very particular way. And it doesn't always agree with me as much as I beg it to. There we go. And now I have control over my pretty little box, which means I can move it and drag it where I need to. Because if I don't have control over that, then I don't get to do that. So here we go. We've got simplicity up on the screen for those of you guys who don't know, or maybe you're on YouTube and you're not sure. As you know, this is a counter trend trading system. So we're coming into Christmas right now. Now is a really good time to be thinking about maybe not necessarily position trading, weeks and months, but definitely swing trading, meaning that you hold these trades for a couple of days to a week, potentially even a couple of weeks. The volume in theory, outside of COVID and our presidential nonsense and stimulus and economic crashes, which definitely is looming over our heads. Outside of all of that, in the past, this time of year, usually volume goes down quite a bit. Most of Wall Street is out on vacation. Granted, there's not a lot of places to go right now. Most of Wall Street isn't putting big amounts of money into the market during these next, say, 8 weeks. So we're about 2 weeks out from Thanksgiving, give or take 10 days. And then we have, after that, we've got Christmas, and then we've got New Year's. So that whole period, we'll say 7 weeks, you can expect that in theory, the volume could go down. So now is the time to get back to maybe potentially swing trading. For those of you who are not in my scalping classes, you guys can keep doing that. Obviously, the market's still going to be there, scalp in, scalp out, and then go on with your day. But for the rest of you who want to use simplicity and kind of use this, counter trend, reversal trend trading system, now's a really good time to take a look at the 1 hour chart, the 1 hour, or let me make this a little bit better to where you see a bit more of my screen. There we go. Either the 1 hour or the 4 hour time frame, and just pick some pretty simple pairs. So for those of you guys who don't know what that is, those are going to be most of your USD pairs. Nothing that's CHF based, especially right now because it's a safe haven currency. But other than that, pick a few pairs, pick trades that have a 1-to-1 ratio or better, and never less. So if it has a huge stop loss, we're not going for that. And then just do a 1%, 2%, 3% at the very most, and never any more than that. And I promise you, at the end of this next 7 weeks, I can't say how much you will have grown or how often you're going to be checking for these trades. But if you are checking for these trades a couple of times a day, or you're using the scanner to get an alert on, let's say, 1 hour and 4 hour trades, then you have an opportunity to have grown your account quite a bit in the next 7 weeks, just following these things that we're going to go over tonight. So for right now, we've got Euro USD on the screen. Not a perfect example, but it's the first one on my list. So as you guys can see, first one, we're starting there. So I don't go pick for the best examples. I use what's in front of me to the best of my ability. So you guys know that you can set this to be much faster or much slower, totally up to you and how you want to use it. And ultimately, for the most part, it's not wrong a whole bunch. The problem that people are, when they decide what they're taking it is they're not following any set of like basic rules to say, will this trade work out or will this trade not work out? So remember that these boxes are based off of the Fibonacci. So we're not going to necessarily pay attention to those as highly, because if we scroll back in history, they're going to not necessarily be in the same spot because the Fibonacci is consistently moving. So we're not going to necessarily pick our trades based off of, is this in the magic box or is it not? But we are going to look at a few things in terms of candles. So when we get a signal come up on the 1 hour time frame, which we're not always going to be in front of our chart when that happens, but what we're looking for, as soon as my chart decides to react to my mouse, maybe, there we go. And I'll scroll back over, hopefully get to where a signal is present. And then I'll have to probably just drop a line. Is we're looking for something to make a continuation in the direction in which that arrow is giving us. So if our system is telling us we're going to sell, so let's drop a vertical line. We don't have a signal right now. We're not just looking to take this trade and decide that it's right. We of course can kind of come back and make this double top. We can, of course, this could be this impulse move and then a continuation. 1,000 things can go against you. But what you can do is use this signal, which right now is set at 10 or 11. I'll tell you guys exactly. Indicator list, simplicity, just to make sure you guys have all the data. It's set at 11 for the trend. Okay. So the trend is set at 11, just slightly faster than the 15. Just to give you guys an idea, but once you get this signal, rather than just taking it, you can wait for a pullback, okay, so hopping down to a smaller time frame, wait for it to come retest the 50 kind of thing. B, you can set a pending order. Let's see, so if we got the signal at the close of this candle, so remember, this isn't a permanent signal or even relatively trustworthy until that candle closes. So assuming that's somewhere in and around here, I'll delete this line. We'll move it over just to kind of verify. Yeah, I'll move it up a smidge, small amount. There you go. Move it over. So in and around here, we want a candle to break lower. We want to get out of where this says it's going to go. So you have a couple of ways to kind of decide how to do that, but we're not trusting this until either A, price moves in that direction, or B, on a smaller time frame, we get a re-signal, which you're probably not going to get a signal on this pullback. That's not how the system is made. The signal you would get, the continuation signal on even the 15-minute or the 5-minute, wouldn't come until like right here. So that's the biggest key in terms of how I would be using this and how I will be using this for the next 7, 8 weeks, give or take, for finding kind of those swing trades and all the other good stuff. I know that Uncle P, the creator of this system, he uses the 4 and 15 method, meaning 4 hours, he's looking for a signal, and as long as the 15 is in agreement, or you get a fresh signal on the 15, you can go and take it. So something along those lines. So any questions on any of that? Let me make sure y'all can actually unmute yourself, because I don't think that worked last time. Let me move this. Mute all. Gotcha. Minimize. Anybody at all? Because you get tons of messages. So Charlene, there you are.
It's Jenny.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you now.
So, you're talking about swing trading or just the trade in general?
Swing trading particularly. So like right now, I wouldn't
So I'm sorry. Can you explain? So once the trade makes it all the way down, how do you know you're in a swing trade? Like when it goes back up, are you still in that trade? I don't understand that part.
That's a fair question. That's a really, I think I did have that question. I know I did, is how do you know? So if you're finding your analysis on these higher time frames, if you're picking to trade from, let's say, the daily time frame. So what time zone do you live in?
Central.
Central. So like if you're coming to your chart at 4 o'clock every day, give or take, you're taking a look at this daily candle and saying, okay, do I have a signal? Is it moving the direction I want? I'm going to take this trade. That's considered a swing trade based off of the time frame you're using. So whether or not it moved in your favor a whole bunch or against your favor or a whole bunch doesn't decide what kind of trader you're being. Because technically this could move side to side a whole bunch for a decade, or it could move up and down and against you or for you. So that's not anticipatable. That's not something that we can know in advance, but you know that you're going for a larger amount of pips and you're planning on holding it longer based off of the time frame you're using to find your analysis, to find the trades that you're looking to take.
Okay. And the swing starts at what time frame?
I think that's individual, but for me, I think that most
Okay.
people would agree that, across the board, the most universal definition of swing trading is anything above the 4 hour. Some people include the 1 hour in that, but 4 hour daily, that's definitely considered swing trading for sure. I'm sure some would argue that the 1 hour is considered swing trading as well. I don't know if I agree or disagree, but I think some would definitely feel that that's swing trading. Because here, watch, if I press Control Y, okay, let's see if that's going to pop up for me. Maybe.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm all right. You know which time frame is better to scalping really, and what time is that exactly? Particular time is better for scalping.
Scalping, depending on what instrument you're trading, is better on the 1 minute,
No,
5 minute, 15.
I live in London, so probably London break really is better for me in the morning.
Oh, you live in London, so you should be
Yeah.
a billionaire.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so if you live in London, London Open is a great time. New York London crossover is also great. It's got a ton of volume. So your time, I believe it's 8 a.m. London time. I
Yeah.
don't quote me because of daylight savings. It's all weird, but pretty sure it's 8 a.m. your time. London is open. So you're going to get a lot of volatility, like based off of what time your guys' market. So there's London market, but then you guys have your stock market, if you will, too, which is a little different. So like New York opens, and then an hour and a half later, technically, we have our US stock market open. So you have two really prime times, depending on your work schedule, where you can find the trades and scalp. I mean, very effectively.
Which time frame is better, you think? I've been this time really the COVID-19 stuff like that is really difficult to trade. Really, it's better to be scalping a little while.
I personally, like, that's my overall vote is, yeah, I'm 1,000% invested in scalping at the moment, and I'm a few percent invested in swinging. So which time frame? Like, listen, if you're trading an index, you can scalp the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15. If you're trading a really slow moving pair, okay, let's say you're trading a CAD pair, then you probably need like the 5 minute or 15 at the very, very smallest.
Which pair is slow moving? GBP, I think, is fast, isn't it?
GBP is fast for a Forex pair. So GB, and you live in London. So again, I can't legally give you advice on what you should do, but if I were you, what I would focus on is I would focus on perfecting a couple of the GBP pairs. So pick 2 or 3. I would focus on finding the 2 times, like you have London open and then you have your market open, which I'm pretty sure is separate. Don't quote me. I'm an American. So yeah, it's 2 prime times where you can find this trade. And then if you have time in the afternoon, your time, where the London, New York crossover is, I would look for another trade and I would just focus on those and nothing else. I would ignore every single thing else.
Right. Okay, Jenny.
5 minute time frame. The 5 minute time frame will be amazing.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you very much. Okay.
You are
Try
welcome.
my best. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. To the lady who was asking a question just a second ago, she was talking about what decides a swing trade and what decides. There you go. So
thank you.
You're welcome. So looky, I put the day breaks on here. I'm making it kind of ugly, and I made it super ugly so you could see this is 1 day worth of a move. So this is 24, actual hours, right? So one trading day starts at 5 p.m. Eastern time and so on. So if you're taking a trade off of the 1 hour and this takes multiple days to play out, that counts as a swing trade. Now, again, so this is a perfect example of 1, 2, 3, technically 4 days of a complete up move. But now look at the next trade. The next trade doesn't have that. So let's say you got in, you have 2.5 days versus 4 to 5 days. So the time that the trade is going to go in your favor or play out, we don't know. There's no way to know that. But you know that you're willing to hold it until the conditions now give you an opposite signal, or until you've hit your ATR or you've hit your take profit, depending on how you're finding your stop loss and how you're finding your take profits.
Okay.
So I wanted to show you that so you could kind of get a really clear picture on what to look for, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4 days of the up move. And we could definitely, it looks like we're getting a double top potentially. We could see the, the continuation of the downside. Now, if I made it super ugly, we don't have confirmation of it yet.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, I'm checking the chat really
Can
quick.
I ask, hello Jenny, can I ask what two moving averages that you use?
I use a handful, but these two on this current chart are the 8 and the 50.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Hey, Bill, I got your message. Welcome as well. You're new. Welcome to the team.
I'm also new too, I'm sorry.
Well, hi. Is it Nike or is that how you say it?
Nike.
You do say it Nike. Okay. I knew a Nike one time, spelled it the exact same.
No.
And I thought I was so cool being able to pronounce it properly, but I was wrong. All right, cool. All right, guys, any other particular questions on what we're doing? So I'm going to click through a couple of pairs real quick and kind of give you an idea. Obviously, we're not looking for a trade in A's in session. I'm not willing to sit through London volatility and hold a pair that I'm not sure of, particularly in this crazy market. Now, granted, Brexit's over, but still not my cup of tea. Everything, the virus, the stuff, anything's possible, and I don't want to play that game. So this is my first time here. Just wanted to know what I can expect from these calls. Isaac, what, can you unmute yourself? Let's see. Going once. I know there's kind of a lag, so I'm trying to be patient. Oh, okay. So what you can expect is Uncle P does his calls on Tuesday and Wednesday mornings. He typically, I'm pretty sure, clicks through some pairs, gets some ideas of potential signals, and he talks a little bit. He is a phenomenal man, definitely has a heart of gold, an incredible husband. I mean, come on, you guys. He really is an amazing husband, but he's also just a good person. So he goes through some awesome trades. He kind of helps people, see things the way he sees things. I believe Mr. Elvis, who is part of the advanced group, also does calls or will be doing calls or something on those lines. Definitely has a YouTube. His are going to be a little different. And then mine are every other Tuesday, basically the first and third Tuesdays of the month. And they'll be very business or beginner friendly. So nothing too extreme, nothing that's going to, make your brain pop kind of stuff. Nobody's going to complain. Well, hopefully no one's going to complain and say, I didn't understand. This Tuesday night call is meant to be very beginner friendly. So we can go over things like structure, supply, demand, support, resistance, trend lines, candle formations. Well, even that we're getting a little complex, but basically going over basics. And then of course, every now and then I pull out simplicity as well, because I'm big on the whole, you need to understand basics for Forex for any system to work. And then Tuesday and Thursday morning in the advanced membership group is scalping only. So we mostly hang out. Some people talk so much mess, no one in particular, but mostly it's hang out. We find a couple cool trades. We've got a couple really, really awesome people in there who know a lot and just share different ideas politically, coding wise, and cool indicators and all that other stuff.
Are you talking about Scott?
Which one, the Smack Talk one or the Code Smart one?
Well, he's definitely smart, but Smack Talk one.
Oh, no. See, I wasn't talking about him, Derek. I promise. I wasn't. Not him.
Oh, it must be Barbara Ann.
It probably was Barbara. Yeah, it's got to be Barbara. I mean, the sweetest person, the sweetest apple pie. But yeah, got to be her. But I hope that answers your question. So that's kind of what you can expect. This call is not nearly as open, like people aren't as forthcoming in terms of talking and all the other stuff. So
Hey Jenny.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Paloma and I'm new to the program. I had a question on getting alerts to my chart. It seems like I barely get any alerts, and when I signed up with the serial number, I did the allow all DD imports and allow external imports. Now, am I supposed to check off the allow modification of signal settings too?
Okay, first off, do you have the scanner or do you have Simplicity?
I have Simplicity and the Trend Surfer too.
Okay, so that's different than the scanner. So the scanner looks like this. It's going to give you, if I have it set up to give me every time I get a signal on the 1 minute time frame, it's going to send me an alert. I can have it set up on all of these, which I wouldn't. It would drive you nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say I wanted just the ones on the 1 hour and 4 hour. I have no interest in being chained to the computer, and I'm just going to swing for the next 7 weeks. I can pick my top 12 pairs and have that set up. But that's the scanner. That's a separate entity than Simplicity. So in theory, which you can do this, I don't think it works long term, and I have yet to see it be viable as an option. But you can open up here. Let me share a little bit more of my screen. So you see how I have all these different windows open down here?
Yes.
Okay, so you can open up a chart for for Euro USD, for whatever, odd chef, for odd JPY, GBP, whatever. You can open up a couple of charts with Simplicity on there. And then, of course, you'll be able to get the alert. I'm pretty sure, let me right click. You can get the alert that way. But this is a powerful, it's a very code heavy indicator. So having all this, if this was on 7 or 8 charts, it's gonna slow down it's gonna slow this down. It's gonna slow it down a lot. So you can plan on it, not functioning as optimally as you would like, because it's a very code heavy indicator. So it's using a whole bunch of data to find that signal. And because of that, you can't have 12 charts with this on it. And that's where getting the scanner turns out to be a really good idea.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. The scanner changer does not. Well, does the chart changer come with the scanner? Do you need a chart changer, Bill? Because I think we have one. There is one floating around the group. The chart changer for, you mean this? If you can unmute yourself, I'm not sure. Because if I click on this, it's going to pull up whatever chart I have saved into the settings, any chart that I have saved. So it's kind of like
I think the dashboard.
That's the dashboard, right?
The symbol changer, I think that's what he means. Bill, is that what you mean? The symbol changer?
Chart changers in the group. I think he just means a regular chart changer, but it's an okay feature. I don't think it's the greatest or the worst. It's not a necessity, essentially, though. But this right here is technically a chart changer because you can pull up any chart you want, which is kind of nice. Scanner is a one-time payment. No, it doesn't do monthly. And let's see the other questions. Symbol changer. Okay, cool. But I think that answers most of those questions, most of them. And no, for the person who messaged me privately, I don't use that for scalping, and that's not my scalping strategy. It's different. So, and it works really well. So my scalping strategy works really well. What you're mentioning is too slow. It'll be too late too often. Well, on a slow moving pair, I guess, anything has a place, in my opinion, to be fair, but on the faster movers, what you're mentioning is too slow by far. Isaac, I do. It's trademarked by Forex. Okay. What are those EMAs? So that's the 8 and the 50. Those are all EMAs. I don't use any really SMAs. The 8 and the 50. Okay, so any other questions? I'm pretty big on talking, y'all. So the chat takes a while. If y'all are able to unmute yourself, building connection, that's correct. Trademarked with an ED, so trademarked, MARKED by Forex. I'm pretty sure. If not, Donna can grab it. She's good at that. She's actually better at all that stuff than me. I'm just a good trader. That's it, honestly.
Yes, that's it.
That's it, honestly. But she's learning how to get good at YouTube too. So there's that. Yep. Okay. I see you popped up on my phone. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and continue. Anybody else have any comments, questions, things of that nature that I can help you with? So my inbox is full. I literally have been trying to spend an hour every morning the past several days answering any DMs on Telegram. It's a lot to do. So if you have questions, now is the time. So now when I'm live and I'm here, I promise you can have my undivided attention now versus 19 voice messages, which I'm infamous for on Telegram. So I am getting through them slowly, But if you can come out and ask your questions, I don't care how big or small it is. And I promise you, no one on here is going to make fun of you. No one on here is going to pick on you, because we have all been just as silly and just as backward on every one of our thought processes. I promise you. I promise you. Anybody at all, because this is your moment.
So I have a question. So you said I guess I put the 13 and the 50. You said it's too slow. So what would be good moving averages to for scalping, if you don't mind asking?
Okay, so for scalping, I have an entire scalping strategy inside of the advanced group, and it's a really good strategy. So there's a gentleman there who custom built a tool that kind of gives you, well, it gives you everything and above and beyond everything. So it's an indicator, and it's with inside of the advanced membership group. So I would, if you're interested in scalping, which right now it's not a bad time to become a scalper, if you can, be self-disciplined enough to learn to walk away, I would highly recommend go to the SuperEZ website and sign up with that. Just do it for a month. And if you don't like it, if it's not your place, if you don't love the strategies or love the people, then no hard feelings, go on your separate way. But most people find that when they stick with it, they start having some insane wins. They start growing in their market knowledge, and it's not that complicated, I promise.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
All right, awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you there, so I'm gonna hold you to it. So
okay, you got it.
you might have to arm wrestle Derek or something, but you're more than welcome. All right, awesome. Okay, I don't know who Ultra Low is. Yeah, she is. But thank you. I think you're saying something nice. I'll take that. Thank you. Thank you.
He was asking if you were referring to the signals group
Oh,
as far as
like,
the
yeah. I was like, I think so.
scalping.
Yeah. Yes, I am. That's correct. I'm in, but I don't see the videos. It's in the We the People group, and there's a whole Google Doc with all kinds of videos in there. We hit 100 videos a couple weeks ago. So it's got a bajillion hours of us talking and hanging out, because some of those are like 2 hours, 45 minutes, 3 hours long. So it's got hundreds of hours. Everything you could have ever learned about Forex are in that video, are in those videos, more accurately spoken. So tag somebody,
Hey,
tag
Zach,
yeah.
Zach, that's who's asking about the videos. If you didn't join the We the People group, I just posted the link in there in the signals group. So just scroll back a little bit, click on that link and join it, and it'll explain everything on how to get there. So that's where the videos are.
Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
She's my hero. Okay, so for the other person who's asking about Hugo's Way, yes, they have a web-based MT4 last I looked. No, I don't use it, but yes, I'm pretty sure it's available. Don't quote me because I don't use that on the daily.
Hello.
I do. Hello.
Jenny?
Yesy?
Yeah, this is Andre. When is your scalping classes again?
Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, because I'm interested in it. So far, I've been long-term trading, but I really would.
Where are you calling from?
Anguilla in the Caribbean.
The Caribbean. Oh, you're so lucky. Is it beautiful?
I'm the one that does report long-term trades in the group.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was just talking about you living in the Caribbean. I said, is it beautiful? Because you're kind of breaking up. I don't know if you can hear me, sweetie. Peekaboo.
Yeah, Jenny?
I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, my internet went.
It's okay. I get it. You're totally fine. That's what time it is. I don't know what that time that is in Caribbean time per se, but if you can make it and you're not asleep and it's not going to turn you into a walking zombie, I highly recommend you come and hang out, and you'll have a good time.
Okay, so it says Thursdays.
I'm sorry?
That is, it's on Thursdays?
Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's correct.
Okay. All right.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Andre.
Thanks.
Sure. Okay, so how do we access the, okay, for everybody real quick, I don't know how to say your name, I apologize, but it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We mostly hang out, we scalp, we don't always find trades. We mostly win, but sometimes we lose. I took an enormous loss a few weeks ago. It was painful. It was not a good moment, but mostly we win. I mean, most of the trades we take are good and they're protectable and it works out pretty well. And some days we say, it's not looking like I want it to look, so we skip it, but then we learn and we talk about other things. And it's a very informal kind of hangout where people talk and share life, and a family kind of friendly environment, most of the time, I promise. But
it's only in the Signals group. You have to be a member of the Signals group. You'd have to join that from the website to access the scalping class.
okay, but back to all this stuff. So back to simplicity, everybody. So guys, we have some 1 hour signals and I'm going to click through that real quick. I was supposed to make this shorter than longer, but whoops, my bad. I'm not too great at that. So Euro USD. I'm always thinking of the US 30 because that's the coolest pair in the world, but not looking at that for a whole minute. We are kind of in this area of interest, right? So we're going to call it the whatever you want to call it, but it doesn't matter in terms of what this area is. We're looking at a potential double top. We're looking at a potential information. So we have a current sell signal on the 1 hour time frame, right? And that doesn't necessarily invalidate by this happening. This is just a pullback. We have yet to break a higher high. So in theory, this is still a relevant sell. And in fact, it's a really good entry. So we wouldn't just take this all willy-nilly and decide that this is going to sell because we want it to sell. This is clearly moving up. But we can pop down to a smaller time frame and say, okay, what are we seeing? Let's scroll over. Oh, there you go. So scroll over, you've got your perfect kind of sell signal. And what did we first talk about? We said we're not going to just take any sell that we get. We're going to wait until either A, we get a pullback, so we get a better entry that aligns with the stop loss, or B, we start making a lower low. And we've officially done that. So we're only a handful of pips into this. But if we needed to find a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, because I do want to at least go through the US dollar pairs real quick before I hop off. That's only, a 30-ish pip. I haven't counted pips in forever. My brain might go a little bit numb. That is actually 30 pips. Okay, so 40-ish pips. That's a big move for 40-ish pips. So in order for that to be a good trade, you need to at least get 40 pips out of it, right? In theory, that's kind of, you want the 1-to-1 at minimum, bare minimum risk to reward ratio. So that's still a very doable trade. When you're looking at the higher time frame, the odds are you have potential for quite a bit more than a 1-to-1. No guarantees, no promises, because this is clearly an uptrend. And you can wait until it breaks the trend line, but you definitely want to wait. It technically has broken the trend line. So you've already even got the retest. It's already a done deal. So that's not a bad trade to be looking at. Anyone looking to short EU soon? Isaac? Yeah, everyone has been looking to short EU and looking to short GU, but GU has not been playing very nice. So we'll go over that and then we'll jump off real quick. Just followed. GU, kind of same story. So this, I'll go to a higher time frame. 4-hour time frame, huge impulse move, and then this has happened. So I'll zoom out now to where it's not so ugly. There you go. All this move. People thought this was going to be the drop, but of course it wasn't. It was just a pullback and a continuation. So now 4-hour time frame, we're getting all these wicks to the top side, definitely in and around that market, looking like it could form the double top, but we're still not there yet. So we have no confirmation on this pair. Unlike on EU, which we at least have some confirmation of. On this pair, we have very little. Oh, stay still, silly. We would need it to break this before we really trusted this as any signal, no matter what. That's what I would need to see. I need to see it break it, and preferably some kind of a retest, or I'd need to see like an aggressive impulse move. I need to see some power, some oomph, some momentum kind of pushing down. So wait till London session. Yeah, but I'm asleep for London. I'm not that cool. If I try to stay up for London, I am not a functioning human. I mean, I can for a day or two, but after the day or two, I'm no longer functioning. Let's take a look at gold. What about gold? Gold, I feel like, is better scalping material right now. You see this huge thing, okay, all this stuff happening. You can't predict or control that. And because of the stuff going on in our world, you have stuff like this compared to stuff like this, and that just makes it a really not a wise thing to be looking at on these higher time frames, because we don't, well, at least I don't care what's happening on the higher time frame. I don't care at all, because this is that's 4 hour candle. This is a 4 hour candle, just one, and that's 1,000 pips on gold. So on gold, your lot size would be pretty high, well, as you know, in comparison to an index. So on gold, that can make or break your whole world, your entire world. So just my overall, let's go to the daily time frame real quick. This is being highly manipulated. If you want my honest overall view on gold, it's being immensely manipulated. Thank you, COVID. Thank you, government. Thank you, powers that be, that we're not allowed to say or talk about. So massively manipulated pair. To kind of predict or to play around with what this is worth or what this is going to do, to me, is a fool's errand, particularly on the higher time frames. So if I'm looking at gold, I'm going to treat it like I do the index or indices or a really extremely fast mover. And I'm going to, whoopsie. Sorry about that. I don't know what just happened. My thumb clearly got away with me or something. Let me try that again. That was weird. I went full screen, which meant it went over lots of screens. That wasn't going to work. So going down to a really tiny time frame, we're currently pushing down. So, but now we've already got this kind of bottom happening, potential double bottom. I mean, you would have to make a lower low for this to be valid on the 15-minute time frame for a continuation. And this big thing you're playing against, it just makes this entire zone not safe and not appealing. It's not something we desperately want to look at, because we've got a double bottom to look to buy. You've got room to move to retest the sell. It just got too much room either direction. 5-minute time frame, I don't think that's an actual gap, is it? But that's what I'm seeing. I don't love it right now. Isaac said, I live in London. Yeah, London's the best. I would live in London for a few months, maybe with my youngest in a few years. I'll do that. We'll see. We'll see. Yes, you can trade it from the 15 minutes to the 1 hour. I just haven't been doing that. Just it's not as cost effective comparatively speaking. So that's kind of where I stand. Not to say that you can't, because you totally can. And people have, you know, they do super well at that. But right now, to make a clear analysis on this, market gapped up a smidge. It already kind of came back down and filled it. But the gap up is an indicator that it kind of wants to go up again, always in theory. And we've already retested the previous low here, kind of, and you're rejecting already impulsively. But you've got these two impulse candles to the downside. Actually, you've got one more too, because you've got this huge, massive impulse to the downside. So it's too heavily manipulated right now for me to, you know, have a fool's errand of trying to say left, right, up, or down, because you've got plenty of room either direction, at least today. That's, you know, my analysis today. It's not something I would make a long-term analysis on. So how about your opinion for GBP CAD? Let's take a look. What are you seeing on that, Alex? And what time frame? All time. No. What time frame are you looking at? I mean, you gotta give me something to work with here. 5. All of them but one. Oh, sorry. All of them but 2. You're a funny guy. Okay, so 4 hour time frame, it's consistently making higher highs. So you're at the top. This candle stopped out. You've got 4 candles stopping in the same area, right? But this is still an impulse candle. So your most recent largest candle on the screen is an impulse bullish candle. And we've already retested 50% of that. We've already wicked to the downside, and now we're back at the top again. So if we pop down to a smaller time frame, I'm guessing we're going to see the makings of a potential M formation. But let's look on the daily. Price has kind of been sitting reasonably still. I mean, it's not moving a big, you know, amount of, no real clear direction for quite a while. Hold on. Make it ugly. So that's September. So for months, it's kind of been in this range. And if you wanted to go further, you could say for months, it's been in this range. So it doesn't have a huge range at all right now. But ultimately, we have to do our top-down analysis. So without getting into all the charting software like, structure and trend lines, clearly taking a look, in theory, this is moving up. Now, by how much? I don't know, because you're kind of in a zone. And if you look to the left, you're kind of at structure. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. 4 hour, since you want all the time frames, you've got 4 candles that are kind of almost in the same spot. You made a higher high, but that could have just been a fake out to finally kind of get a continuation. And again, you're trading in the zone at this point. So it's all zoned trades. 1 hour time frame, perfect makings of a M formation. And what I like about this one is, notice the length of these candles. They all have body, they all have oomph, they all have a purpose. Like, these people are moving with a purpose. And then you get this. They're kind of small in formation. They've got wicks on either side, tweezer bottoms pushing it up a little bit. But still, this is struggling. This isn't moving up with power like a continuation. This isn't happening. This is moving up with power. This is just tiptoeing up a little bit, deciding. No, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullish candles, no bearish candle yet. And of course, we've got a beautiful kind of dojis, tweezer top here, push down. You've got dojis and hammers happening at the very top of what looks like the potential of an M formation. It's not there yet. Unless, we have to be fair, it's not there. So we'll make a little trend line. Not super valid, not super amazing. But if we break that, you're looking measured move style. So if we just go to the center of the M, you've got a really safe, what is that? 30 to 40 pips. If you're looking for the measured move, you have approximately 80 pips, right? Because it would have to continue. Oh, come on, silly butt. Let's see if we get in here. And go down to here, give or take. And that wouldn't have to go against the trend. So if this is about 35-ish pips to the upside, 35 down even to here, and another 35 down, because you always want to underbid, don't overbid. The smiley faces behave like parabolics, I see. No, they're not like parabolics. Actually, they're more simulated closely to like a moving average. So parabolic stars are massively different. Like, look at them. They look like that in a shape formation because they're individual entities and not a straight line, but these are definitely not coded like parabolic stars, sorry. They just are individual bubbles where a line would be. And depending on the trend you set it at, you'll see this get really close to price or really far away from price. So play with it a little bit. Get used to, when you guys play with an indicator, get to know it, understand how it works. You'll do exponentially better if you do that. So it's coded to move comparably to a moving average. It just has symbols rather than a line. So, but anyways, that's my analysis on GBP CAD. So I promise you, if we go down a couple of time frames, which I'm not going to every time frame, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but price is edging up. It's not the same. This is moving with purpose. Kind of just straggles down, really doesn't go anywhere. And now it's really just pushing. It's trying real hard to kind of get somewhere, and it gets nowhere. That tells me a little bit about what price can be doing. So 5-minute time frame, we're looking like we could be getting a signal. We already have one form of support and resistance. I love the impulse. We corrected wicks to the top side, for a potential move to the downside. We're not there yet, but definitely I feel like that's probable. But it's a counter trend trade, so just know that. If you go to take this sell and you're up 15 pips protected, or close 50% of your trade at 15 pips, 30 pips, and then say 45, 50, and so on. Yeah. Does that help, Alex? Okay, cool. Okay, so last question. Anybody else got questions in the chat, by all means, or come on out. But let's see, Rio, are you there? Yes, all my stuff is recorded. not all of it's live on YouTube, but it's all live within the groups. Very few things are live on YouTube. And we're working on getting a little bit better. Donna's going to get good at editing, and I'm going to get good at, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, but she's going to get good at the video stuff. And then we're going to put it on YouTube. So some of it will be, but I mentioned that because when the SAR is farther away from price, the stronger the trend. Yeah, in theory. But look at what SARs are. So let's put SARs on the chart. What are your favorite parabolic SAR settings? You got some? I'm going to use mine. I'll keep them white. So that's how parabolic SARs behave. That is massively different. They're not the same. When price is farther away from the moving average, it's definitely stronger too. I mean, but if that's how your eyes see it, like if as long as what you're seeing is working and you are withdrawing, I will not dare disagree with you. But if you're like, it doesn't move the same as a parabolic SAR. It moves different. So you know. All right.
Hi, Jenny.
Yes, sir. Hey, Anthony.
Hi. My name's Anthony. I'm new to the group. I just wanted to go back to the simplicity trend period settings. I noticed yours are set at 11, and you mentioned 15. I've been sort of looking at that, mucking around with it, but I'm not too sure. It comes standard 20, but how? I guess what setting is best? Does it matter what period you're? Say if you're working on a 15 chart, do you want it to be quicker, or is 20 okay? I'm just a bit confused with how to set the period settings actually.
Okay, so write this down. So and it took me a long time to knock this into my brain. So
yeah,
no hard feeling if it takes you a long time too. So
yeah,
here's the deal. On the smaller time frame, you can't afford to be getting in and out a bajillion times and be wrong a bajillion times. So the theory is that on the smaller time frame, the bigger the EMAs, and the same thing with simplicity, the bigger you should have your number set at. This way you avoid getting a signal on every little umph and bump, right?
yeah.
So
okay.
on the 5 minute, 15, maybe even 30, having it at 20 is going to give you a much later signal, but a much more confirmed signal. So you're not going to get 1,000 false starts and 1,000 annoying little, you're chopped up. But if you're on the higher time frame, and let's say you're on the 4 hour and you want to set it as low as, let's say 5, that there was a gentleman in the group, I don't remember, I think I know who it is, but he's pretty private, so I'll keep that to him. Like he was one of the first members of SuperEZ, so he's stuck with the group forever. He uses the daily and the 4 hour time frame. He's a really cool guy. He likes the 5 minutes, the period 5 setting on this, but he uses it on the daily time frame. So he's getting a fast signal, but he has, let's go there. Let's go to the daily time frame.
Okay.
So if he got a signal, let's see if I can't find a signal. It's probably going to be a minute, especially on this setting. If he got a signal, he just has to wait for the next candle, and he can get his pips. Like if he's going for the ATR value, for example, and that on the ADR kind of stuff, but that won't matter as much. But you're going to get too much noise and too many of the little pullbacks. You don't want to get all the pullbacks on the small time frame. So bigger time frame, smaller number is more acceptable and more commonly accepted. Smaller time frame, bigger number is more accepted.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have to think about that.
Please do. It took me because I was like, no, that's backwards. And I talked myself into circles a billion times, like we all do, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So it's no different than if we plop some moving averages on here. Those smaller moving averages give you a lot more wiggle room on a big time frame. But on a small time frame, you're better off looking at the slightly larger ones and taking the more confirmed than getting all this noise that makes it's just noise and it's not valid,
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thanks, sir. Thank you, Jenny.
You called me sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, any other questions? Let's see. I'm checking the chat. Donna, how is your other chat? Have you checked that?
Yeah, hold on, let me check again. Um,
How many chats can you chat? You guys like the songs from earlier before class? Those songs are good. Bill, real quick to answer your question, you said our auto trading is activated. I use quite a few EAs. I use quite a few expert advisors. I test out different things. So mine is mostly activated. Mine is currently activated. So if you want to use the scanner, you need to have it activated because that's an expert advisor. If you want to use, for example, the ATM, which is currently in beta testing only within the signals group, and it's an expert advisor trade manager, you need this turned on. But if you're only using indicators and not and not expert advisors, you don't need this turned on. So just so you know. Yeah, Barbara, those were good songs. All right, guys, we already went over what time the classes were. I super adore you guys. Please, if you don't know, I promise you it's posted 1,000 times on the website. It's posted 1,000 more times in the chat. And I promise you somebody will post it 1,000 more. So having said that, that's enough for tonight. If you guys have questions and you guys are DMing me, please consider writing them down. I promise you, if you write them down and you say, hey, Jenny, I need help with trends or support, or I want to go over my trades with you. I feel like I'm doing the right things, but I feel like I'm not getting where I want to be. I give you my word. I will use one of these calls. I will go through your trades with you, one-on-one coaching level, and do everything I can to help you. But make sure you're coming to these calls with your questions because they're better suited for now than obviously trying to get to 100 messages at once. So hope you guys all have an amazing night. Thank you for everyone who's constantly here and paying it forward and participating. Couldn't be what we are in this group and in this family without you. Please be careful in the markets. Take care and God bless.
Thank
Good
you.
night, Jenny.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.